Welcome again. Well, this video may be a bit of a downer, suggested by the title, but this will be the last video of the Deco Designs channel for 2022 and for the coming few months. This channel is going into hiatus for a while because I feel like I'm not really motivated anymore at the moment or inspired to create content. In the end of 2022 I really started looking back about what I've achieved in the last 10 years, what I've created in terms of content and whether or not I still kind of like what I've created. And the answer about that is, well, increasingly no. Some of the things I've made in the past are things that I really hate and resent now. I'm quite perfectionistic in some ways and really my own worst critic, and I feel like that nowadays I can create certain videos a lot better and I would make them very differently than how I made them at the time. Also, some videos just in general I wouldn't make them anymore, but I created them kind of as an experiment because I needed a creative outlet. Also, I'm well aware that this channel is really random in its content and its subjects, but that's just me. I'm interested in a lot of different things. I started properly with this channel in 2012, creating videos about these guys, the Suzo joysticks. And yeah, I was passionate about them and I felt like I needed to share something about it. I ventured a bit into retro games in reviewing them, and it became kind of the main staples of this channel. But I also got interested in some other, past interests of mine, like filming old lifts. I've made a lot of videos about those, and it's a very niche subject. I mean, it's not really a mainstream subject on YouTube. The lift filming community is, well, a thing in its own, and it's, yeah, a bit niche. And I also made videos about bunker explorations, and I do forest walk vlogs, a bit of retro computing things, sometimes repair related but not successful with that, because when I try to repair something it always becomes just a mess. I always try to do that with the best of intentions, but let that be a cautionary tale. Repair videos rarely ever end well, with my attempts but also with other people's attempts. Then about 4 or 5 years ago I started making some videos about music production and synthesizers, and I got really interested more in the music production side of things, because as a teenager I played drums and I was always interested in synthesizers, and since a few years I've collected a few of them and started making music again. It seems like the newer videos that are about the music production, they seem to do a lot better than some of the other content, but I also feel like pressured to deliver content of a certain quality. I don't really know why people subscribe to this channel, because the content is so diverse in terms of subjects. I did videos also about building engineering because I'm passionate about that as well, because that's my profession. But I'm well aware that it doesn't really go well together with like music production or with retro games or with lifts. All of these things don't really mesh or blend well together. That's just the way this channel is. When I started in 2012 there were a lot more smaller channels with kind of random content, with vlogs and with personal interests of people, with their hobbies, with things that they shared. But YouTube has changed a lot. These days there is a lot of professionally made content by people that do that for a career, that do it professionally, for who it is their job, who have professional writers, professional editors, and they can really go in depth more about certain subjects and present it a lot better than I can, or that just a smaller YouTuber in general could do. I feel like just, well, what's the point? Should I still continue? At the end of 2022 I really had just a kind of a rough time mentally, just the winter depression, and I really thought, well, I should quit it. I really wanted to quit it, but then I thought, well, after I uploaded some forest walk vlogs that I still had made in the summer vacation, I thought, well, maybe there's still some value in continue doing this, even though at a slower pace, because I feel like that the weekly or bi-weekly schedule that I've always did just put a lot of pressure, and I feel like I never had enough time to make a video really perfect to the way that I wanted it. And in the last year I went to a bi-weekly schedule to give myself some more time. But still, yeah, I just feel like the amount of effort that I put into it, it's just not really worth it anymore. I'm just not really motivated anymore to make videos that often. Especially because I'm just a lot more critical about what I create nowadays than I was like 5 years ago. If I look back at some of the videos that I did in like 2018, 2019, and I look at them with, well, the way I would approach making videos now, I think they are really cringy and some of them are just bad. I just wouldn't make them anymore, or at least not in that way. And that is just the thing, if you have so many different interests and subjects, you can never really specialize in one thing. And well, over the years I've learned that if you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to really stick to one subject and get really good at that. And that's just, well, my weakness. I can't do that. I'm just all over the place, like a magpie, just always going from one thing to another thing, and I just know that people perhaps do not necessarily like that. So I think it's just time for a break. And when it comes to like retro gaming videos, I don't think I will be making them in the future for a while, because they take a lot of time and effort, and retro gaming on YouTube in general is just kind of going in a downward spiral. It is a subject that's kind of saturated, and yeah, so many people have told things about certain games that, yeah, what sort of value can I still add to that? Take that game for instance, the Page Master. It is a game that I recently bought out of curiosity because I have some special childhood memories to that game. I had a girlfriend when I was 12 years old, and she had gotten that game from her parents, and to me that game seemed really frustrating, because when I observed her playing it at the time, she was really frustrated with it. And years later I tried it with an emulator, and well, I didn't really particularly like that game until just a few months ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, I saw a video from SNES Drunk covering this game, kind of pointing out exactly what is good about it and what is bad about it. And it's a game that just, well, yeah, it had a bad timing. It came out in a time when the market was really flooded with very similar games that it had to compete to. Games like Sonic, games like Mario, games like Mr. Nuts, Bubsy. The mid-90s was really saturated with platformers, and this game was also a movie tie-in based on, well, the Page Master movie with that Home Alone actor starring it. And yeah, this game has good graphics and good animation, but it just seems like it was really rushed and unfinished, and it is really hindered by bad design. It's just not fun to play. And SNES Drunk pointed that out really nicely in a way that I could never do that. YouTube itself is just kind of going into a downward spiral, because these days they have to compete against other platforms like TikTok with vertical videos, and YouTube is trying to go in that same direction, and I just don't think it's a good direction. I don't know what value a 30-second vertical video has. It's not something I would ever do. I want to create kind of longer videos and kind of go in depth on them, but I'm well aware that the attention span of a lot of viewers these days is kind of short. So I thought, well, should I still put a lot of effort in making videos that don't get much views, and do I still want to do this? On the other hand, I still enjoy making videos and editing them. I just need a creative outlet, but in the last year I've also started making more music with the Volcas, and I really enjoy that, and I kind of want to focus more on that for a bit. Well, I just need some background music for my forest walk vlogs. With that being said, I think I will continue making those, but it will take at least a few months before I will put out some content again. I just need to kind of put my thoughts aside and just kind of think whether I should make perhaps a second channel for other content or not. It depends. Do you want that? If you want perhaps a channel about music creation subjects or not, or yeah, do you see any value in that? I just don't know. Thought, well, should I make a second channel about music production things? But on the other hand, well, that is also kind of a saturated space. I mean, if you look on YouTube on like videos about Korg Volcas, there's a lot of them. A lot of people that make dollars jamming videos about them, or yeah, what sort of value could I add there? There's so many people that already have done videos about that I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Well, I just guess I will continue making forest walk vlogs for now. I really enjoy making those, and those are fairly easy to edit as opposed to like gaming content or content about music production, which just requires a lot of preparation and editing. And yeah, a forest walk vlog is relatively easy to make, and I can put some background music on that. So I think I will be continue doing that, but it will take perhaps a few months before I start returning with some new content. So with that being said, well, I hope you enjoyed this ramble. I'll be signing off for now. Bye bye.